The evening began with that strange, unspoken distance couples sometimes feel before their world begins to crack. Ava stood by the mirror, perfume thick in the air, smoothing her lipstick with unusual precision. "Don't wait up," she said, voice light but empty. "Just a girls' night, dinner, maybe a few drinks." I smiled, though something deep inside tugged at me, a quiet unease I couldn't name. The dress she wore was new, elegant, clinging to her like it was made for attention. Too glamorous for a casual night out. I knew what that meant. Or maybe I just didn't want to. She'd always been meticulous, the kind of woman who left no trace of her secrets behind. But lately her eyes had started keeping things from me. When she grabbed her purse and blew a quick kiss, she didn't notice how my smile vanished the moment the door clicked shut. I sat on the couch for a while, staring at the meaningless flicker of the TV. 6 years of marriage, and somewhere between deadlines and late-night excuses, we had drifted apart. Her laughter quieter, her touch colder, her explanations smoother. Late meetings. Drinks with coworkers. You wouldn't enjoy it anyway. It had become a pattern. But tonight, something in me refused to be blind again. I picked up my phone and typed a message, simple, harmless on the surface. "Where are you guys hanging out?" No emojis. No suspicion. Just disguised concern. Minutes ticked by. No response. I told myself not to spiral, but the silence screamed louder than any truth. Instinct, or heartbreak pretending to be instinct, made me find my iPhone. She'd forgotten I still had access. A small blue dot pulsed far from the usual neighborhood bar, across town at an upscale rooftop restaurant famous for candlelight and champagne. I stared at the screen, heart pounding. Maybe her friends wanted somewhere fancy. Maybe I was wrong. But deep down I already knew. I drove without thinking, headlights slicing through the blur of city lights. Every turn brought me closer to a truth I didn't want to face. When I arrived, I parked in the shadows across the street. And there she was, laughing. Radiant. Leaning forward, her hand resting on his. Cashin. Her colleague. The same man whose name had started showing up too often. The one who texted her late at night, just finishing a report. The way she looked at him, it wasn't friendly. It was the look she once saved for me. I raised my phone, snapped a photo, and sent it with a single message. "Tell the girls I said hi." What followed didn't feel real. It was like watching a slow-motion collapse of everything familiar. She looked down at her phone mid-laugh. Her face froze. The color drained. Her fingers trembled as she reread the message. Then her head jerked up, scanning the crowd like prey sensing danger. Cashin asked something, she didn't answer. She stood abruptly, knocking over her wine. Red spread across the tablecloth like spilled guilt. A few seconds later she ran. I didn't move. I just watched, calm in a way that only heartbreak can make you. 7 minutes later, the front door burst open. Ava stumbled in, breathless, mascara streaked, panic in her eyes. "It's not what it looked like," she said instantly. Please let me explain." I stood in the doorway, voice steady, heart already hollow. "Sure," I said. "Explain why you were out with him, not your friends." Her excuses came out tangled. "We were just talking, it was about work, I didn't mean." She stopped, realizing the lies sounded thin even to her. When she reached for me, I stepped back. "You told me not to wait up," I said quietly. "Now I understand why." Her face crumbled. Tears spilled like words she couldn't form. She said she was sorry, that it was a mistake, that she'd never meant to hurt me. I wanted to believe her. I almost did. But that image, her hand in his, her laughter, the way she looked at him, was carved too deep to unsee. Trust doesn't shatter with noise. It dies in quiet moments like this, when forgiveness feels like betrayal to yourself. I turned, walked to the bedroom, and began packing a bag. She followed me, voice breaking. "Where are you going?" "To somewhere I can breathe," I said, folding a shirt. "You wanted freedom. Now you have it." I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I just left. Because sometimes silence says everything. That night, I slept on my brother's couch. No TV. No arguing. Just the low hum of the fridge and the weight of realization. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. Messages flooded in. "Please answer. It wasn't what you think. You can't just leave like this." I didn't reply. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, realizing love isn't about possession, it's about respect. And once respect dies, love turns to dust. A week later, she showed up at my brother's door. No makeup. Pale face. Red eyes. She held a bouquet like it could fix something. "Please," she whispered. "I can't lose you." But the man she was begging wasn't the same one she'd left that night. I looked at her and said softly, "You already did." Then I closed the door. For the first time in years I felt peace, raw, quiet, and painfully real. Because 7 minutes can destroy trust, but walking away in silence can rebuild your soul. Sometimes the loudest goodbyes are the ones you never say. If this story moved you, subscribe for more tales that remind us how fragile and how powerful the human heart truly is.